I want to give, and we have to reach out to people who have not, who has less attendance. Okay, and then ensure them understand what the problem is. Some have issues like the shift. We can't help much. I have asked them to go through the recording and the meeting notes. For some reason, if you want to join, but due to conflict with the production deployment or UI deployment or something in your project, if you cannot join, ensure that you come back and then look at the meeting notes when the time is available, so that you are up to date on what is discussed in the COE. Okay, don't if you miss one session, go back and then come back here and then see what was what you have missed. Make yourself up to date. Okay, so that is what I want to say. I have taken a lot of time. Sorry. So Manas, I think it's back to you. Okay, so please please continue your session from the last one. Thank you.
Thanks, Joy. Hi, everyone. So before actually we start the session, just a quick recap of the last session, what happened and all. So let me present my screen. Can everyone see my screen, please? Hello?
It's loading.
Yeah, Manas, we can see.
Yeah, Manas, it's loaded.
Okay, so just take a quick recap of the last session, what happened and all. So if we go to the details of Azure Data Factory, we have discussed what is necessary to start with Azure Data Factory, about the subscriptions and about the roles that need to be given to a particular user who want to start doing the development and all. And we have discussed about the architecture, how we can do migrate data from Azure SQL to Dynamics 365, and we have also discussed about the key components like pipelines, datasets, link services, and triggers and all, which we will be shortly addressing them. And there are and about the integration runtimes that are being available in the ADF, which can be used for migration, and importance of Key Vault, how it can be used, the encryption levels, the levels of encryption that it can be used, and a brief introduction how do we actually create databases and servers and data factories and all. So let me go to Azure portal and then quickly show from this session how we can start doing the migration, how we can use the resources and all. So this is my Azure portal, and you can see something called resource groups here. So in the last session, I have created this resource group, which it contains of this our database and Azure Data Factory. So if we click on the Azure Data Factory here, which it will take to the home page of the Data Factory, which it will allow us to start doing the development. Apart from that, it will also allow us if the users that need to start doing development for this Azure Data Factory, then they need to have a particular access, so they can be added in the resource groups, or and they can be given the corresponding roles as well. So if you see this, these are all the data factory roles that are available, like owner, contributor, reader. In general, no one will be given owner except only the administrator will be having the owner of the data factory. But most of the people, they will be provided with the contributor role. And these are some of the properties that are available. And if you see them, like how we are using data factories and all, this can be show us the metrics how well we are using the Azure Data Factories and resources. So let me quickly start doing the development without wasting much time. So in the overview, if you click here, there is two tabs called documentation and the author and monitor. This documentation gives the complete information of what the data Azure Data Factory is and how it can be done. And if we actually click on this one, this is something which is very important because our development will be starting from here. So we need to click on author and monitor, which it will take to the actual actual landing page of the Azure Data Factory. So this is the actual landing page. In the left side, you can see some options like Data Factory, Author, Monitor, Manage, and all. This Manage is the latest introduction which Microsoft has recently introduced. I will come to the details later. And this is just a simple landing page which, if you want to create a pipeline directly without going and doing much changes, you can click on here, which it will pop up a pane. It will directly take to this. Or else if you need to do the data flow, if you click here, it will again take to the landing page. And there is some other option called copy data, which it is something different apart from those. This is like our SSIS import wizard. We will do the SSIS package wizard. So we will give the properties, source, connection, and data set which we need to use, and destination and data set settings what can be used, and the deployment. This is just a straightforward without much changes and all. But actually, if you need to have a good knowledge on how this works and all, you should start with the author. This author is one important thing. This author is the place where actually we start our packages and all. In terms of pipelines are nothing but the SSIS packages. In general, we will be calling them. So you can see something called pipelines, data sets, data flows, and connection triggers. These two are now currently moved from here to the management hub. If you click also, it will not available for you to do any changes. And these triggers also, it will allow you to create the jobs and all. And from here also you can create a trigger, or if you want to do it from here, this is something called monitor. There is something called monitor, right? You can also create triggers from here actually. Sorry, So apart from that, this integration runtimes, it can be available here, and apart from that, it is also available in the management hub. This management hub is nothing but a place where we actually manage our connections. Connections to the databases or APIs and Git, everything that are being used in the project. So in linked services, we are discussed in the previous session, like what are linked services and if you want to actually move data from a source to a destination, first, there should be a link that should be established in order to take the data out. So that is the importance of this linked service. It will establish a link to the source or a destination that we are going to use. And this integration runtimes is very important. Now you can see something called auto resolve. This is by default available for everyone. Apart from this, there are other two as well. If you click on here, a new, there are something called Azure SSIS and self-hosted. I will be explaining what is about self-hosted and Azure details. So self-hosted is nothing but when a database is hosted in an on-premise machine, and if we need to pull data out of it, then in that cases we will be using self-hosted. If the Azure databases is having Azure SSIS integration, we can deploy our own packages and run those SSIS packages directly from Azure Data Factory. This part I have not tried it because I don't have the privilege to create a catalog and all. Maybe I will try, and then I will give a documentation on how it can be done. But for now, let's see how we can do with Azure and then self-hosted. this auto resolve is it is subtype is public. That means all the resources which are being hosted in the Azure, they will have the public connectivity. Maybe many of you are aware, like when we are creating a database, there we have three different types of options. Like one is public endpoint, and the other one is private endpoint, and the third one is none. None and public endpoint both are similar, but when it comes to private endpoint, that is a time when we will be using this self-hosted. Since we already selected the public, then the database that can be accessible using auto resolve integration runtime. And this Git connection is something, if you want to set up a Git connection, we can give it, or else if you need to do the changes and all, just click on the top drop down here. Here if you click on the setup, right, it will ask for the repositories. Either you can select for the Azure Git repository or GitHub. If you select this, if you have any existing Git accounts and all, those will be automatically connected to your Azure Data Factory, and you can publish those changes. And coming to this template, I will come this in a final step. And triggers, these are nothing but if you need to create triggers, like if you need to say, for in terms of SSIS, these are like nothing but a scheduled jobs that will be scheduling in catalog. And this managed key is something we have discussed. This is nothing but a key vault, which we need to start using here. And if you go back to author, right? So here it is called pipelines, datasets, and data flows. And this is sorry, yeah. So this is the overview of how we can how we can start making note of these changes and all. So without much delay, I will be creating linked services. So let me go here. First, I need to create a linked service for a account, right? So let me click on linked service. And in the linked service, when we click here, lot of options that are available. Apart, not only on Azure, there are other databases like Redshift, Apache, Impala. These are all latest changes that are coming in. And for all the, if you want to do the migrations from files, like these type of options that are available. If you want to do from NoSQL, MongoDB, Cassandra, these are all available. So for now, I have created an SQL, right? So let me select it, Azure SQL. So Azure SQL DB database. When we want to, we need to establish the connection to this. So let me click on continue here, and there are some best practices in terms of naming conventions. What Microsoft generally recommends is, if it is linked service, it should be ls underscore the connection name, like what we are using here. Let's say it is SQL DB hyphen tryout database. This is what generally Microsoft is recommending. If you want to provide a brief description what it is, like we can say like it is Azure SQL. And this is what I was talking about in the management, this integration runtimes in the left side, which is graded out. This will come automatically. This is auto resolve, right? So it will automatically connect to the Azure SQL which is hosted. So there is no need of external connectivity from here. But if we are having on-premise network, and if we need to pull data out, then that time we need to create this self-hosted. This is what I was talking about. For now, let me create with Azure, and later we can see how we can done with this self-hosted. Okay, so let me select this, and then the connection string and Azure Key Vault. For now, I will be selecting the subscription and the server name, Azure ADF server, and database. And authentication type is SQL authentication, and my username is Manas. And here the other day I was talking about the using of Azure Key Vault and password. If you actually give the password here, if someone might attack on your system, they can easily know the password, how we are being using in the ADF. in order to protect ourselves from any of those attacks and all, we should be using the encrypted one. So if you click on the Azure Key Vault, you will have something called linked service, a secret name, and the version. For now, we have not created any of the Azure Key Vault. I mean, in the ADF, we have not connected to the Key Vault which we created earlier. If you need, I will be coming to this part as well. So we need to provide the password in case if we try to establish the connection without Key Vault. So the connection, it is failed. The other day I was talking about the IP that need to be set as a firewall. So here also you can see because the client IP with address is not allowed to access the server. That means this ADF is nothing but a client that is trying to access the database. So we have not provided this as part of the firewall. So that means we don't have the connection. If we need to have the connection to the database, then we should copy this address and then give on the SQL side. If you go to firewall on virtual networks, here is a place where we will actually give the IP address. If you need to give the static IP, then it is fine. But I was giving here dynamic just in case if something changes. So. The firewall is set. And if we go here and then if we do the test connectivity, sorry, we just given the connectivity to database. Let me check it here. So we don't have the access to the database. For the server, we have given the access, but for the database, we have not given it. No, it is there, but why it is coming? So I have given the wrong password. Now you can see something called connection is successful. So if you need to provide it directly using the password, then you can create it. Now you can see a link connection is established. But actually, if you want to make use of the Azure Key Vault and the encryption part, just now we need to create the Key Vault first. You should Key Vault. Create it ls-vault SQL. And I have one Key Vault called Azure Tryout one. And if you click on test connectivity, connection is successful, then we can create it. And every time, this is one thing everyone need to aware of. If you don't publish the changes for the key vault, we will face challenges, because this, if you don't publish it, this is not easily accessible when we are using it. So in the subscription, we'll select it. In the server, we will select the server database, and authentication type is SQL authentication, and username is password. Sorry, username is minus, and password. Here in password, we need to start using Azure Key Vault, and we should select the Azure Key Vault, which we have created recently. And we should use the secret name. Secret name is something which we have created in terms of creating the key vault. So let me quickly open it. Secrets. So SQL password. This is a key vault name. Sorry, secret name. We should use it here. Your page is not working. Password. This version, whenever you if you do changes to any of the passwords, if you create new version, by default this will, if you don't provide it in the this one, it will take the latest version. If it is only having one version, if you don't have any expiry date, by default it will take the available version. We can leave this blank because we are having only one version as of now. And if you click on test connection, this will fail, because it will say that the connection, the key vault access is not provided to this data factory. See, the user group or application name data factory does not have get permission to the vault. That means we need to, before actually start using of key vault, he should have the permission to access that. So if you go to the key vault, and if you click on this one, here something called access. No, not this one. If you go to access policies here, this is the place where you need to provide access to the database. I mean the Azure Data Factory which we are using. So if you click on add policy, and this can be optional key permissions. No, not all. In the secret permissions, we need to provide the get, and the secret principal. This is the place where we have to give the application, Azure Data Factory application. Azure ADF tryout. So here we are using ADF tryout, right? We should select that, and we should select it here, because secret, in order to get the secret value to that data factory, it should have get permission. So we should provide the access. So we have provided with get permission, and if we just click on test connectivity again here,
Manas, you have to save the record.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to save it. So now I have updated it here. and when we do the test connectivity here, now the connection is successful, and we can create the connection using Azure Key Vault. So we have created it for both using Key Vault and with providing password and all. Now let us quickly connect connection for Dynamics. If you see if you type Dynamics, we have 3 different options that are available. This is old version. This is the online latest versions and all. But I recommend everyone to use Common Data Service, because Microsoft is changing everything to Common Data Service. So let's start using this. And there is nothing wrong in terms of using it, but the recommended way is to start using the Common Data Service. So let's create a connection, ls-cds -trial account. And this is also online connections, so the by default connectivity will be auto resolve only, and the deployment type is online, and we need to select the correspondence. This is one of my trial account that I was start using it. So and the authentication type is Office 365. If you have Azure Active Directory, then you can start using that as well, but I don't have that as of now, so I was using Office 365 here. And password. And password, again, we can save it in the link Azure Key Vault, or we can directly provide it. I did not save that password. I think something wrong I have entered here. Now the connection is successful. I have created it. Now all the connection link services are established, so that we have the connectivity for these connections. We can use it. So if you go back to the author, right, we have something called data sets here. Data sets are nothing but the predefined schema or the table that we will be using it. So in order to do that, we need to select particular linked service so that we can start using them. We have created connections to Dynamics and then SQL. So let's create the tables. SQL Azure SQL DB. So when we connect this, the data sets should be naming condition should be ds underscore Azure SQL underscore out. And the connection link service, it is we are created it right using Key Vault and then database as well. So let's select one of them, and this is the table name. For now there are no tables. We can click on OK, and then we can publish it. And we also need to select for Dynamics as well. So we have created it for common data service. So let's select common data service, and the name should be ds underscore cds underscore contact or account, whatever we need. And we should select the link service, and the loading, it will take it will load all the entities which are available in the Dynamics. Let's select contact, and then we can click on the test connectivity. Action successful, and we can publish it. Now we do have two data sets, predefined schemas that we can use in the packages. So these pipelines are nothing but the packages in SSIS. So if we need to create the packages and all, just right click on this. You can see called new pipeline from template, and then new folder. We can also create new folders like for our identification, like tryouts or SIT or DIT and all, and we can move them here under this. And the naming of the pipeline should be PL underscore SQL underscore CDS migration. And you can see called something here activities. Activities are nothing but the actions that are performed in the with the data, like if you need to copy data, or if you need to move, do transformations and all, then different types of activities that are available here. If you go to Azure Explorer, there is something called commands that we can write, and if you need to do something called custom or own coding, then we can start using this. And Databricks, if you are aware of Python, and if you need to do some transformations and all, we can start using these kind of things. And this general is actually some of important things that we need to aware of. If you need to append some variables to the data, then we can start using this. If you need to delete some, we can delete this. And if you need to execute one pipeline, we can execute it. And if you need to execute the on-premise database SSIS package, this is what actually when we deploy our on-premise SSIS packages to Azure, and then we can start using this Azure and make use of this. And if you need, there are some other lot of options that are available, and if we can also start using high MapReduce when we are working with big data world and all. And the iteration controls like for each and if condition switch until, these are some famous iteration comments that are available in Azure Data Factory as of now. And we can also start using machine learning if we need to. Let me in our migration, let's start using this copy command. The only option that is currently available to migrate data to Dynamics is this copy command only. There are no other ways that we can migrate data to Dynamics. Only copy command is the one which is available currently, not even through data flows. This part I will be coming in shortly. So everyone need to be aware of that. So in the copy data, this is an activity, right? The naming conditions for this should be AC underscore the operation SQL underscore CDS migration. And in the source, if you select, I mean, we can select either SQL or Dynamics. When we select the Dynamics, right, we will have we can directly select all the columns that are available, and we can load to some other tables. Or if we need to just filter, we can use the fetch XML and then we can query it. And when we select the SQL, we do have different options like table, query, and store procedure. Table is nothing but if you don't want to filter some columns, we can select this. If you want to do filters, we can select this. And store procedures, everyone are aware of it, right? So it will show what are the store procedures that are available here. And in our case, let's start using this query. I have not created any table set, so let me open. And when we place it here, this is not working. And when we click on preview, it will show you the pop-up saying the data, the last name, what the fields like. When we click on preview, it will show the data like same in SSIS, and we can set that query timeout and all. And in the sync, let's select Dynamics. Here, the behavior which everyone need to be aware of in SSIS. Actually, when we start using Kingsway Soft, we have different options like insert, update, upset, and all. But the only currently available option for Dynamics is upset. There is no other option it is showing. And when we do this upset, there should be there should be predefined alternative key. If we cannot actually provide manually the alternative key that need to be updated, or reference key that we can start using. This is something we should create in the Dynamics, the alternative key part. Let me quickly show that as well. So when you click onto go to the solutions, and when you click on any of the solution,
Manas, there are just a few minutes left.
Okay. So, okay, fine. Here there are keys, right? You should start creating the alternative keys, and then you should start using it. So then those will be available here. If you don't provide in that in the mappings, right, you can create your own mapping. Oh, sorry, import schemas. So in the this will be list of columns that are available. If you don't want to select all of them, just clear it. You can start creating your own manual mapping and destinations. This is actually map, and in terms of settings, right, the data integration, it will be by default auto. If you need to change it, you can change it. And degree of parallelism, this is something which we can also enable it. And the fault tolerance, this is something important when we need to redirect the error logs to some other tables, then actually we will be using in SSIS. But in terms of data factory, the fault tolerance, we have only two options. Either we need to store it to blob, or we need to store it to Azure Data Lake. For now, I have not created any of them, so let's skip this. When we select this, automatically the error logs will be loaded to this. And user properties, if you need to start using parameters and all, that also are available at the pipeline level. So for now, I will create this, but this will fail because I have not provided the reference key. Let's execute this, and it will show you the error. Yes, so it is failed. And when you click on the message, if you want to see the error message, you need to click on here. Why it is saying so? It is saying this client is not allowed to access the server. So it is missing the IP here again. I should give this. And if you provide all these details, for sure this will be working out. Since we don't have much time, I think no. Let me. Control V is not working. Sorry. If we select this 41, and we can, if you push it there, for sure it will work. This will again fail. So it is saying the update or upset scenario is not, it is missing a column. That means the reference key which we are setting the alternative key, it is not actually mapped. If we don't map the grid, it will fail. Or if we don't map the alternative key, it will fail. So we need to keep alternative key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. And let me go to mapping again, import schemas, so that the new field which is introduced, it will get reflected. Yeah, mapping, last name. Alternative key. Okay. So when we debug it, so now you can see record is being successfully created. And here is something important. When we click on the details, it will show the logging as well. See, data row reads is 1 and row return is 1. So that means we don't have any failures. If we do have failures, that will be shown as error records and all. So this is something execution part it will show, and in terms of costing also it will show in the this option, it is available here. And when we go to CRM, and then if we see it here, So everyone can see this, right? The tryout record, which is currently created. It is 4.2. That means now it is created. So this way we can actually migrate using ADF. Hello.
Yeah, okay. So Manas, are you done or you
Yes,
have
Jay.
some?
This is done, but recently, until now, there are some options for multi-entity lookups which cannot be set using Azure Data Factory. But on 10th
Good.
June, they have fixed it, and we can also set the multi-entity lookups as well.
Okay. So good that we complete one simple thing. Okay. One record we are able to migrate from a query uh, into CRM using this Common Data Service and Azure Data Factory. So this is good. But the message that I want to tell to everybody is we should practice. Okay. We should not leave it to here and then okay, Manas is given this session and then so okay, this is done. Close the books. The idea here is that every one of us practice this. Okay. You all have MSDN Enterprise, you all have the tools, everything is there. The only thing is you need to invest some time and then learn this new things. So all this key vault, the firewall, these are nitty-gritty things which may not be coming straightforward. You might have to spend a lot of time trying to identify and debug a simple, insert a single record into CRM. We are good that Manas has been able to successfully demo this once insert, but behind the scene you have seen all the trouble, right? So firewall was there, key vault thing was there. He tried to introduce the best practice, the naming conventions. So this is very good learning. So please try out. Okay, everybody has all the things. The only thing is that you will need some investment from your side in time and effort, some hands-on from your own side. Okay. So with this, probably Manas will discuss on the next steps. Then in the next session, we will probably do some Power BI, and maybe later come back to ADF with a with some like part 2 or part 3 session where we target specific. The idea is that you are aware of the things that what Manas has done till now. Next step is like the other complications. Okay, maybe we can do as a next level. We'll go this one in a chapter wise, but and you have to catch up. So you please try out, make sure you spend some time and effort here, learn, and if you have doubt, everybody is busy. Manas will be busy. Manas's time and all, he can help. Otherwise, I think it will be a self-guided, approach to learn yourself. Look up Google, look up Microsoft Documents, and then help yourself. Okay. All right. So thank you, Manas. This is wonderful, and this is really good. Yeah. So Thomas, let's put this one also in the Microsoft Streams for everybody to consume.
Okay. Yeah, Jay.
7
minutes, but yeah, I think this was really helpful.
Sorry for everyone. There was trouble in my connectivity. I couldn't. So I request everyone to start using ADF actively. So if they have any challenges and all, just let us know in the group so we can all collectively work on that. For now, since we do have a time constraint, I couldn't demo for other